Doctor removes over 200 parasitic larvae from 12-year-old girl's scalp after misdiagnosis of sun poisoning. Extreme Trends presents a 12-year-old girl who complains about irritation in her head. Dr. Kavita Mariwala had to remove 212 live larvae from the scalp of 12-year-old Brianna Skyrick due to a serious parasite infection. Brianna screamed and informed the doctor that they had gone to a water park that day and spent a lot of time outside in the sun. The doctor examined the region of her head where she had been complaining, and upon seeing that it was red, inflamed, and covered in blisters, she concluded that she had sun poisoning. The phrase sun poisoning refers to a severe case of sunburn. Blisters, discomfort, and skin redness are often its defining characteristics. She was given an antibiotic and placed on an intravenous fluid strip by the doctor. They believed that the diagnosis was accurate and that they had everything under control and everything would turn out well. Mother discovers burst lumps on daughter's head after hospital discharge. Brianna was discharged from the hospital after a few hours on the drip, and Skyrick got ready to go home the next morning. However, when Joy, who was Brianna's mom, awakens Brianna, she observes that her daughter is still in agony and decides to inspect her head with a flashlight. Brianna was really astonished to see around 20 little lumps when the doctor shone the light on her head earlier. Her mother believed that Brianna had sun poisoning, but later felt like there was more going on. She really wanted to return to the United States. Joy concentrates on getting everyone ready to depart, and soon they are all boarding a plane to return home. A little time later, while Joy was stroking her back trying to calm her down, she decided to merely glance at her head to see what was going on. When she noticed that some of the lumps had burst and were dripping clear liquid and blood, she was horrified and scared. Dermatologist examines patient with severe head condition. Joy shouted, "I grabbed a couple of napkins from our supply and cleaned the area." When Todd, who was seated a few seats away, sees Joy motioning for him, he is startled by what he sees, since it seems as though someone took a pencil and physically stabbed Brianna in the head because it was in terrible condition, and there was blood everywhere. When Todd assured Joy that everything would work out and that he would be there to support her, Joy really felt relieved for a while, but little did she know what was to come. When the family arrives in New York, they accompany patient Brianna to their local hospital where dermatologist Dr. Kavita Mariwala assumes responsibility for her condition. She was extremely loud about how much her head aches and how she was concentrated on one specific place. Dr. Mariwala starts her examination. Doctor discovers head infestation in 12-year-old girl. She saw these little shadow erosions that almost looked like erosions, but when she looked at them closely, they suddenly moved up and down like that. After looking at the lesions for a while, she bent down and maybe was 2 inches from her scalp when she heard the sound, and that's when she knew something was seriously wrong. Mariwala gently inserted forceps into one of the holes and slowly pulled them back out to see what was actually in there. When the forceps passed the skin surface, she realized there was a larva on the end of it. She then pulled the larva out of the hole, and it was immediately obvious that there were many, many more. She had never seen anyone pull a worm out of someone before, and it wriggled back and forth. Dr. Mariwala sends the larva for examination. Shortly after, she makes a diagnosis. Brianna had a head infestation. Doctor successfully removes over 200 parasitic larvae from girl's skull using petroleum jelly therapy. Mariwala chooses to suffocate them instead of attempting to coax them to the surface, so they covered the whole region in a very thick layer of petroleum jelly. Dr. Mariwala had no clue how many there would be. Each time Dr. Mariwala removed more and more larvae from Brianna's skull over the course of the next 3 days as she applied the petroleum jelly therapy every few hours. She got rid of 212 of these larvae, which was more than she had ever expected.